I'll tell you what I'm excited for. You know what I'm excited for? All of the Europeans in America for the World Cup traveling around. Can't wait for them to experience the 4th of July tomorrow. All the booms and fireworks and explosions going off, the European mind truly will not be able to comprehend that. And I gotta say, the World Cup has been the best PR that this country and every other country could have asked for. It's great. It's amazing. Seeing the Europeans all excited to be here, seeing the Americans being so welcoming and excited to have them here. Oh, the Norwegians with their row, they're so based. And all the reaction videos from the 4th of July celebrations are going to be just fun to watch over the weekend. What's up, guys? Back from Deadwood, South Dakota. That was a good time out there for the 12th installment of the Badlands Media Great American Restoration Tour. Good times, fun times. Road tripped out there, drove back too, stayed through the weekend, good weather, some thunderstorms, but now we're back to the grind. What we're going to discuss today are these topics right here. The Supreme Court being a bitch.
Why are you gay?
A couple of their rulings, the birthright citizenship and their ruling on glyphosate. Not being too nice. Mamdani's AC controls going full commie Mamdani. MK Ultra. I saw a little bit of those hearings, a few clips from them, but I've got some thoughts on the nature of what possibly the CIA was learning from MK Ultra. Do we think those experiments ever actually subsided or stopped? No. They probably just went into deeper, darker programs, and they took what they learned from MK Ultra, what they learned on individuals, and I think they applied those theories, those techniques to trauma-based mass mind control. So I'll probably go on some long tangents about that, but yeah. And then I'm going to start off the show discussing the grand conspiracy case against the deep state. I do think with the way the stars seem to be aligning with that, in fact, I just uploaded a video 2 days ago, a couple days ago on the grand conspiracy Rico Grande case, as we're calling it, against the deep state, targeting the Russia collusion hoaxers, 2020 election frauders, Hillary Clinton, Obama et al. I do think that grand conspiracy case is going on, and I do think the Trump admin is roping a lot of different subjects, a lot of different investigations into sort of one grand one, which is why it appears the wheels of justice are moving very slow. This justice is taking so long for us to get. But got to cross the T's, got to dot the I's, got to make sure it's done right. And if they can get them all in one fell swoop, well, that's probably a better way to do it. So I do think we're going to be getting a lot of declassifications over the summer, over the next few months, primarily related to election fraud, which will then give Trump the basis to sign an executive order on election fraud, and other declassifications as well, probably Russia collusion related, and then maybe the fun will start after the midterms or sometime early next year. But we'll take a look at how some of those pieces of the puzzle are coming together, and I'll discuss my conspiracy theorizing. Grand conspiracy theorizing around all that. Friday, man. What do you guys got planned for the 4th of July? Anything fun? Gonna go out and do some explodey-splodies? Please end the weekend with all your fingers. I implore you to keep your phalanges nice and safe. What's up, Lance? Good evening from Washington State. Where you at in Washington, man? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to say, of course, but I'm curious. My old stomping grounds. What's up from Michigan, SoCal? Dude, what happened to me? Asked Kiffy. Well, I got pretty much banned from the whole internet for 5 years. So that's one thing that happened to me. You asked that on YouTube, so I think you're probably just one of my old subscribers on the channel, and channel goes down for 5 years. You hadn't heard from me, and then, oh shit, it's back. I'm getting notifications again. That happened to a lot of people. When I got my channel back at the end of last year, 8-9 months ago, all of a sudden people's phones were getting notifications again. Some people were probably like, who's this guy? Oh, I remember. Why? You should know why, man. Because I was being
based.
2020 election, right? Too much discussion on the truth about COVID, 2020 election, Hunter Biden laptop, Q, all those things. So there was a target list because it was the day the Hunter Biden laptop story dropped, October 15th, 2020. I'll never forget the date. The day the Hunter Biden laptop story came out was when YouTube banned at least 100, 200 channels in full. I mean, nobody really knows the full number there, but most of them were Q adjacent, Q reporting individuals. Me, Red Pill 78, X22, Praying Medic. List goes on, but yep. Good times. And I can go on and on. We tried suing, some of us privately tried suing Google to no avail. Bay Area judges suck balls. And I tried hopping on Trump's class action lawsuit. I got in contact with America First Priority Institute, the legal group that was doing Trump's class action lawsuit for him. I even sent them a video that they posted on their Facebook and Twitter pages. But I honestly don't exactly know what happened to that class action. Probably be no recourse. I don't expect any. Would be nice, but I don't know. With Trump's recent announcement of his, what was it, 1.7, how much money was it? His whole fund, weaponization fund or something. $1.776 billion. That's right. And then the judges have been trying to block that. 1776, $1.776 billion. I'm like, man, I want to try to apply to that. Get some recourse, get some retribution for all that censorship. Although technically that anti-weaponization fund is for people who suffered under the Biden administration, which that mass big tech censorship when the Hunter Biden laptop dropped, that was October 2020, the very end of Trump's term. Right? So I don't know if technically, whatever. Barbecue steaks with family, good times. Riding some dirt bikes and blowing stuff up on the res. Yeah, you're from Washington. You get the good fireworks on the res there in Washington. I used to go out to the res to get the good boom booms back in Wah. That's where they had the good stuff. M80s and shit. Good times. All right. Watching from Kentucky. Where's McConnell? They got McConnell frozen in carbonite, I guess. I don't know what the hell's happening to him, man. Found unconscious in his D.C. home last month before being rushed to the hospital. I don't even know. Is he even alive at this point? Who the heck knows? All right, before we get into it, a couple of housekeeping announcements here. Happy 250th birthday, America. 250th anniversary sale going on at consciousstrength.net. 20% off everything you want to get, off your whole order, with coupon code America. So use the code America over at consciousstrength.net. You get 20% off your order. And that sale goes through Tuesday, the 7th at midnight. So I think the 7th is Tuesday. So it goes on a little bit past the weekend. Link down below in the description. Go check it out. And then have a new sponsor of the channel here. If you want to make your own coffees at home, if you're sick of spending $5-6 on some garbage latte at Starbucks, and you want a really good tasting syrup to make your own fancy lattes, fancy espressos at home, go check out this organic brown sugar vanilla syrup, handcrafted from authentic Madagascar bourbon vanilla and organic brown sugar. It's about $1 a serving, so you can make your own nice fancy coffee at home for $1 or $2, less than half the price of going to your drive-through stand or your Starbucks. Crafted right here in the States. Delicious stuff. Get shipped right to you, and you can get 10% off with coupon code JS10 on that one. Link will be down in the description for your Barcooterie brown sugar vanilla syrup. Go check it out. All right, we will begin here with talking about this grand conspiracy RICO case. So I actually recorded this video like 2 weeks ago, and I was not able to edit it before I went to Deadwood. So when I got home from Deadwood, I was able to edit it up and put it out there. But I recorded this 2 weeks ago. And when I was making the case about my belief that this grand conspiracy RICO case against the deep state is very much in the works, rolling on, and how I think we're almost there. We're getting close. And the prime reason, I want to play a little bit of this video, but a stupid Rumble ad's going to probably pop up. Nope. Nice. Where was our announcement here? It was John Solomon. John Solomon's announcement was a very notable occurrence to me. So John Solomon announced that he's temporarily stepping aside from his role as editor-in-chief of Just the News to assist the government in identifying classified or withheld documents concerning weaponization and election integrity. Right there. So John Solomon is going to be acting as basically Mr. D-Class, as point man. And I found this incredibly notable for a variety of reasons. Number one, because it's John Solomon. And for my Q faithful out there, we know very well John Solomon has been referenced in Q's posts a variety of times back during Trump's first term. So what we could grasp from that is that Trump's team, his shadow advisors, if you will, identified John Solomon as being a trusted journalist to give hints to. I'm not going to say leak, because it wasn't illegal leaking of information. It was giving him tips and hints on what to report on, where to look, where to go. John Solomon was a trusted voice from Team Trump during the first term. In 2022, Trump basically tasked John Solomon to go to the National Archives, and this was when Trump was quote-unquote not president, right? In 2022, Trump tasked John Solomon to be basically a research assistant at the National Archives. And John Solomon went in there, and his job was to scrub around for papers, for documents, and see what was important. John Solomon wasn't the only research assistant, if you want to call it that went to the National Archives in 2022, tasked by Trump to go there. Who else was? Kash Patel. Where's Kash Patel now, leading the FBI? What's John Solomon doing? He's going to be Mr. D-Class this summer. So the same names keep showing up. And it was John Solomon who reported on our Grand Conspiracy RICO case 1 year ago. John Solomon writes, FBI opens Grand Conspiracy probe on weaponization, opening door to a special prosecutor. 1 year ago, John Solomon reported on this. Now that Mr. Solomon is going to be acting as a special assistant to the Trump administration to declassify things concerning weaponization and election integrity over the next few months, I think we're lining up. We're lining up. Getting ready. And then just yesterday, the FBI dramatically expands Fulton County 2020 election investigation, deploying hundreds of analysts to review records. Fulton County 2020 election investigation, you don't say. Because, as I discussed here in my video, wasn't our good friend Tulsi Gabbard? I really wanted to write a Substack article about this, so I didn't have to scrub through my video here, but I'll work on that this weekend. Tulsi Gabbard arranged Trump call with FBI agents after Georgia election raid. Fulton County election raid. This happened 6 months ago. So, at that Fulton County election raid that Tulsi was at 6 months ago, that investigation is now dramatically expanding. Tulsi Gabbard, of course, leaving DNI. We've got acting DNI Bill Pulte in there now. And then Trump, in front of the cameras the other day, basically said Bill Pulte can declassify almost everything he wants. Trump told him to declassify whatever he wants. So Bill Pulte's there for maybe just a month or 2 months or something. 2 months. Isn't that exactly what John Solomon said that his time frame was for being the D-class guy? John Solomon said he would be doing it for about 2 months.
Real quick question. You've got DNI Pulte over there as the new director. We also know you have the task force set up on declassification, maybe talking about international, maybe looking at some declassification. Are you able to give us an update on that?
Declassify almost everything. And, you know, by the way, we have Jay Clayton is going in. You know, Bill Pulte is a very talented guy, but he's just there temporarily until Jay Clayton. And Jay Clayton is going through the process. And Jay Clayton, highly respected, and so is Bill Pulte.
So, told him he could do it. Bill will declassify. I think Bill Pulte is going to be in there for just to shake shit up. Fire a bunch of people, declassify a bunch of stuff, and then leave. And what Bill Pulte is going to declassify largely, I think, will be related to Russiagate and the election. Those two things. And with his declassifications and whatever John Solomon can get his hands on and identify and release to the public, getting these records public will then give basis. It'll give precedent for this Grand Conspiracy RICO case to really go public. Hold on, gotta nuke some spammers in the chat. So yeah, I think we're gonna have literal fireworks tomorrow and figurative fireworks. I mean, who knows about the time frame? Our time frames are almost always wrong when we try to predict the future. Things inevitably move a lot slower than we want or sometimes expect, but I mean, I think we're getting closer. We are getting closer. And the thing with this election fraud declassification, right? So we have midterms coming up. We want to secure these midterms. Trump's been pushing his Save America Act. But Congress just is not budging. And I think Trump knows that. I think he knows that the Save America Act is, Congress is so compromised, both the Democrats and the Republicans. A lot of these Republican senators and representatives, they talk a good game. Yeah, we want secure elections. We want to save the country. But they're corrupt as shit. They're just wolves in sheep's clothing. And Trump knows that. So he's trying every angle he can to get his Save America Act passed. But that's just for the optics. I think he's showing. He knows it's not going to pass, but he's showing how compromised Congress is. So it gives Trump, again, the precedent, the reasoning to sign an executive order for voter ID, restricting mass mail-in voting, doing something about the election machines, the digitized machines. So I would say that executive order, I mean, it's got to be soon, because if we're going to, it's got to be far enough in advance of the midterm elections to, give time to secure things. But maybe in August, September, we'll see. Again, Jordan's wacky conspiracies here, but that's the way I see things playing out. Because, again, we got tons of rhinos, just corrupt Republicans that are hugely against the SAVE Act. Tom Tillis literally goes on to CNN. Like, #1 bullshit guy here. I'm having some technical difficulties.
See this guy? #1 bullshit guy.
There you go. So, point made. Point made. You also have Russiagate too. That's right. I had these up ready to talk about. So a lot of these declassifications, and that general grand conspiracy RICO case doesn't just relate to election fraud, but it relates to a whole host of deep state Democrat crimes over the past 10, 15 years. Russia collusion, of course, too. And we have a couple of developments on that front over the past couple of days. Hillary Clinton urges federal employees to refuse to share information with acting DNI Bill Pulte. Hillary Clinton called Bill Pulte very dangerous and a loose cannon. She also called his appointment deeply insulting to the intel community. And this was, of course, on the podcast with Mark Elias, one of the biggest shithead lawyers in this country. The podcast was called Democracy Docket. Wow. That sounds commie as fuck. So if Hillary Clinton is whining about Bill Pulte and whining about declassifications from Bill Pulte, it's very good news. And then a couple of days ago, John Brennan sued the Trump administration over Russiagate. Lawsuit's been assigned to the Judge Giacob. John Brennan claims that he has been vindictively singled out for investigation and prosecution. So if he's trying to claim that, again, very good news. The Russiagators know that the walls are closing in, and we have developments on election fraud investigations. So, I think that's all I have to say about that. We got MK Ultra on deck to discuss next, but first, I got some comments coming in. Nancy says, I don't think we're going to get the SAVE Act. I think I agree. That's the case I was kind of just making. But I think Trump ultimately knows that the SAVE Act Congress is not going to budge. So that'll give him precedent to sign an executive order. Will I be getting any more EMF necklaces back in stock anytime soon? Yes, but if you want a specific one special ordered, shoot me a DM or an email. If you DM me anywhere, just Twitter or Instagram. Those are the only two platforms I check DMs on. Or shoot me an email, and I can get one, whichever one you want special ordered. But those are kind of difficult and pricey for me to get in, because they're all handcrafted. So they're pricey and they take a while. But I can get a one-off for you if you want. Q was identified as Jeffrey Epstein. Source, trust me, bro. Yeah, I remember that lame narrative going around when the Epstein files came out early this year. That's so dumb. That's such a dumb narrative. It's like, oh, it was written in an email. It must be true. To think Q is Jeffrey Epstein too, right? Like, he gets arrested, kills himself or doesn't kill himself or whatever. Q keeps posting. And why would... And in Q's posts, they were outing Jeffrey Epstein's Satanism and trafficking in his island. Like, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein is going to post his Q and out himself. That's some real smooth brain logic there. Come on. Come on. Turn your brain cells on. I don't mean to be mean, but turn your brain cells on. Donald, was great seeing you in Deadwood 2, and you liked that syrup. The syrup was incredible. Awesome, man. Yeah. Go check it out. Link below. 10% off. Code JS10. Madagascar bourbon vanilla. You can put it on French toast. Put it in your coffee. Do whatever you want with it. Bake with it. It's really good to bake with. Edgar, you were late watching the football. Who's playing right now? Who's playing and who's winning? I'll be honest, man. I'm impressed with the USA team. Fairly impressed. Although, and what's fun about the U.S. men's national team is they're playing in all these hardcore liberal cities. They had a game in Seattle. Their game just the other day was in San Francisco. And they're going back to play in Seattle on Monday. The West Coast liberal cities. And the patriotism there at each game. Take me home, country roads. And the chants. Forcing. U.S. men's national team is forcing these lib cities to get patriotic. Argentina won. Yeah, they got a good team. But I don't want Messi to get another one. I'm messied out. I want Portugal to win because I'd like to see Ronaldo get one. Or Norway to win because Holland is freaking awesome. Or, yeah, I would like the USA to win. One of those three teams. Epstein was photographed in Israel recently. It was a body double in that cell that was killed. That was not Jeffrey Epstein photographed in Israel. I'm sorry. It wasn't him. I mean, it might have been a body double in that cell or whatever. Who knows? You don't know for sure. But, nah, that wasn't. That was a clickbait story. Of Epstein being photographed in Tel Aviv. And you could tell it was AI because there were street signs behind the Jeffrey Epstein photographed in Tel Aviv, and the street signs were fake. The names on those street signs don't exist in Tel Aviv. That was the main way you could tell. Epstein is totally alive, along with Ghislaine being smuggled out through Canada. Isn't Ghislaine in prison? I mean, they're fun theories, but you can't be commenting that as fact. You don't know. Also seems like we're in the middle of the deep state trying to push a race war. Man, we've been in the middle of that for 20 years, 30 years, 300 years. You'll have to check that out. You didn't know about the street signs? Yeah, check out, because it was like that photo of quote-unquote long-haired Jeffrey Epstein with like 2 or 3 bodyguards around him or something like that. There's a street sign above his head in the background. And you can just search that street in Tel Aviv, and there isn't one. It doesn't exist, so go check that out. Isn't there supposed to be an election fraud report coming out soon? Will that change the optics for America First votes? What are you referencing in terms of an election fraud report? I mean, I've heard a lot of things about election fraud that's supposed to be coming out soon. Declassifications, justice on it, even Trump said, so it's coming down the pipeline. All right, MK Ultra. Congress confronts MK Ultra. Testimony warns of ongoing CIA mind control capabilities. This was on Tuesday. The House Oversight Committee's task force on the declassification of federal secrets held the first congressional hearing on the CIA's MK Ultra program since 1977. 50 years. Anna Paulina Luna and her colleagues are doing what previous Congresses largely refused to do, forcing sunlight on one of the intelligence community's darkest chapters. That we know of, at least. Publicly. Their public darkest chapter. The testimony made one thing unmistakable. The CIA lied to lawmakers decades ago about the program's success. Advances in neuroscience, cyber tools, and AI have handed covert operators capabilities Sidney Gottlieb could only dream of. And American citizens remain potential targets. There's the full hearing. MKUltra ran from the early 50s into the 70s. The CIA conducted about 150 sub-projects that we know of, involving LSD, hypnosis, electroshock, sensory deprivation, and torture on unwitting Americans, prisoners, mental patients, soldiers, ordinary citizens. Most records were deliberately destroyed in the 70s. When the program finally surfaced through the Church Committee, the agency downplayed its scope and results. The public was told it was a failure, but new testimony says that was never true. We know, or we should know. But I guess a lot of people don't know. One of the most disturbing revelations came from historical documents referenced during the hearing. A participant in the original program documented the ability to replace true memories with false ones without the subject's knowledge.
In the report, West described administering LSD and other drugs in conjunction with hypnosis on unwitting human subjects, and then he made a remarkable claim. He announced that he had learned how to replace true memories with false memories in people without their knowledge. In other words, he clarified, it has been found to be feasible to take the memory of a definite event in the life of an individual and, through hypnotic suggestion, bring about the subsequent conscious recall to the effect that this event never actually took place, but that it
event never actually took place. So, how many freaking movies have they put the truth in plain sight with? Truth in plain sight in that with that subject. a lot, right? Let me see if I can get like I'll be able to draw. Let's do this. So, okay. MK Ultra. Chat says this has been debunked. False memory syndrome. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Not one thing they said during the hearings reflect actual witnesses. What were you wanting with actual witnesses? I mean, if the MK Ultra programs that we know about were happening in the 50s and 60s, those witnesses would be pretty damn old and or deceased and or who knows what happened to them. But essentially there is technology to implant, don't know if we want to call it memories, but thoughts, if you will, into the psyche of an individual. And this has been known for quite some time. They use psychotronic weaponry, electromagnetic frequencies in sometimes what they call the voice of God technology or voice to skull technology. Let's see if voice to skull can give us some better results. There we go. So this is an article from 20 years ago. The voice of God weaponry. Certain frequencies produce an auditory effect that sounds like it's coming from within someone's mind. I think the graphics I used to have been censored from the internet, but frequency modulator, voice controlled frequency, steady tone. The point I'm trying to make here is that, so we had MK Ultra during, so we had MK during the 50s and 60s. Let's say that. And they were studying on individuals through the, I wish I had like an actual whiteboard I could write on. With LSD, EMF, just straight up trauma, and through other means. And what they were finding is that they could fracture an individual's psyche via trauma. And whether that trauma was drug-induced, electroshock, or EMF-induced, or straight, I mean, a lot of it comes down to sexual abuse, which is why I think there's so much sexual abuse in these satanic circles, because they are trying to break the psyche of an individual and sort of create an altar, create a secondary character in that individual's psyche. But MK Ultra, they're studying individuals, right? And how to control them, mind control them via a variety of means. What I think they found, and they found great successes in being able to manipulate an individual's consciousness via subconscious traumatic means. So they claim MK Ultra folded. Oh, it all got exposed. We ended it. There were no successes, right? It was probably publicly exposed on purpose, so the CIA could claim it ended, and that was their bullshit little excuse to have it go deeper, darker, and far more expansive. So You've got like your Jason Bourne films where they traumatize their assassins to mind control them to go conduct assassinations. Obviously, it's probably Hollywood sensationalized to an extent, but there could be a little truth in plain sight with those Jason Bourne-esque movies. So you could have programs related to wet works, as they call it in the intel industry, or assassinations. Wet work being assassinations, we'll just put ass. And or traumatizing celebrities, which is why I think within these satanic, Illuminati circles in the upper halls of power, when they bring their celebrities in, or their CEOs they want to control, or their singers, their entertainers, whoever, influential people, that's why I think there is a lot of drugs, sex abuse, because they are trying to traumatize these people in order to manipulate them through that trauma. But also, I think what they were finding, the CIA and the intel community was finding in MK Ultra, is that, wow, it's a lot easier to manipulate people when you break them down through trauma. So what we should do, instead of like hardcore trauma to one person, what we should do is thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever, moments of micro trauma. It is really tough for me. I need like a touch screen. Call it micro trauma. Microdosed trauma. Publicly. En masse. And this comes by way of constant terrorist attacks, constant mass shootings, the mainstream media news with a negative story all the time, with constant violence and death depicted in Hollywood media, with, again, the news blowing up, sensationalizing any environmental disaster, with drug use too, right? You got your cocaine, you've got your alcohol, you've got pot, you've got, I'm not inherently anti-pot and anti-marijuana, but it's the frequency of usage. If you're doing it every day to escape, that's sort of micro trauma you're putting on yourself. And so through drugs put out into the communities, and sex, right? The perversion of society, pornography, rampant. And now you got OnlyFans, you got all the celebrities and the influencers and all that, just degenerate. It's like micro sex abuse is everywhere, along with drug use, along with the traumas of all the shit in the news, the shootings and the terrorist attacks and whatever, right? So you add that up, you add all that shit up over the course of decades, plus the poisoning of food, water, air, etc. You can classify that as like a micro trauma as well. You add all that up over the course of decades, we are all subject to what they learned in MK Ultra. And this is why the public, look at COVID. COVID was a mass trauma, right? Everybody's dying. Grandma's dying if you don't wear a mask. That was a great example of the application of the MK Ultra principles they learned 50 years ago. They applied that beautifully during COVID. Trauma-based mind control. So I think we're all subject to what they learned in MK Ultra. Sure, the official MK Ultra named project went away, but they expanded that out. And then we could go off into other theories of, the Montauk Project and the telepathy remote viewing experiments, and they learned they were studying human consciousness in MK Ultra. Well, where else did they go with that research afterwards? Studying other things, right? But that's kind of outside the scope of the points I wanted to make here in this conversation. But the mass formation psychosis, or the mass hysteria. MK Ultra didn't stop. They expanded to hundreds of millions of people with it. What if you use cannabis every day for gout or arthritis? Is it abuse? If you're using it as a medicine, then I think you're fine. There's a difference between using something as a medicine versus using it as an emotional escape. It's the intent. The intent is what's important. Like, the CIA was using LSD in their MK Ultra experiments to try to break people. It's just a tool. It depends on the intent that tool is used. Some people have amazingly profound healing experiences with LSD. CIA was traumatizing people and trying to deepen that trauma or deepen their psychological break point using LSD as a tool for that. So it just depends. Impossible to get addicted to THC. I'd disagree. It's far less chemically addictive than heroin or even alcohol. Far less chemically addictive, but you can still get into an emotional addiction to THC, in my opinion, but I think that opinion is correct. It can be very habit forming. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of cannabis, but I think a lot of people do use it as a crutch. Although I would far prefer if somebody used cannabis as a crutch than alcohol as a crutch. And yeah, the modern growing methods of weed I'm not a big fan of. They make it way too strong. Loaded with pesticides and shit. But yeah, you can get addicted to chewing bubblegum if you're weak-willed. You can get addicted to cheeseburgers. You can get addicted to anything. So yeah, anyway, that's my little rant on MK Ultra. But you know what? I remember doing a neat video way back in the day on the stages of Monarch programming, which was, I think, one of the sub projects of MK Ultra. Let me see if I still have that video up. Oh yeah. With my cringy ass thumbnail. MK Ultra Monarch programming. What did I write on the board? I'll have to look back into that. Epstein files claim cannabis prevented mind control. Again, it's like people look to the Epstein files like it's the ultimate arbiter of truth. It's just emails. Something's written in an email and you're gonna assume it's true. I do think that's true to an extent, like a little bit. You don't even have to smoke pot. It's just knowing about pot and like the nature of its censorship and what it can do and why it's Just knowing it, just having awareness about it. You could never smoke pot in your life, but pot can still increase your awareness just by learning about it, right? Same thing with DMT. I'd never smoked DMT in my life, and I never plan on it. But watching DMT, the spirit molecule, woke me up big time. So you don't have to do something. You just learn about it, and it can increase your consciousness. I do think, to an extent, cannabis can prevent mind control. But if you do it too much, if you start abusing it, I think it actually facilitates mind control. Makes you more docile and apathetic. For most people, not everybody. Depends on the individual, the situation, and their intent for partaking. But I would not agree with the claim that it prevents it, because there's nuance there. You want to smoke some desert frog? What's the compound in the frog? I forget. God, what's the name of that psychedelic? Remind me. All right, where are we going next, guys? Funny TDS video. It's not that important. Marjorie Taylor Greene announces she's in talks to launch the True America focused third party after quitting the GOP. Well, that might be why Trump posted the TDS video, but let's see what she says.
I think there's a group of us that if we decide to align, we could launch a true America-focused party that doesn't fall into the traps of Democrats and Republicans, but could align some serious players from the right and the left and move forward. But Piers, I'm also very realistic because I was in the system. I've served in Congress. I've run campaigns. I know what it takes. It's difficult to launch a third party. So the reality is, this isn't something that gets off the ground in just a couple of campaign cycles. This is a movement that has to be developed and would take time to develop. I'm not sure where that is right now, but I am in talks with people, and there are serious conversations happening, looking at what are the mechanics of that and the reality of it. But up Piers, I'll also say this is it's going to take the American people to get involved. And the American people are the ones that really push campaigns. And so if the American people truly want to give a strong challenge.
What you guys' thoughts on the green? How many third parties can we endure? I would start the no party. Oh, the irony of that one. But what's your thoughts? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene gonna team up with Thomas Massey and Tucker Carlson and who else? Joe Kent? Launch their own party, or? And is Marjorie Taylor Greene's fight with Trump a fake fight? Is it a show? Is this being ran by the white hats? Or is Marjorie going full shill? I don't know. I don't know, man. Johnny says that she wants to work for the American people again after she walked out on them and didn't even finish her term. She got her tenure and split when she didn't get what she wanted. I don't know. Who she mentioned coming together with some Democrats to start this True America Focus Party. Who would those be? Maybe John Fetterman? But I don't know. Jason suspects that Marjorie might be a deployed rodeo clown. Surely no one goes off the rails that hard. Interesting thought, but I would ask, let's take it a step further. Who is the deployer and what is the intent? If we are theorizing about that one. Keep going. I'm getting conversation going with the comments. I don't have any answers here. I'm just spitballing on the sides, on all sides of this. Yeah. No idea. I think if Trump can't get a third party, it's going to take a long time for somebody else to have a successful third party. That's why Trump used the Republicans. Yeah, that's an idea for sure. I don't think Trump cared back in, 15, 20 years ago. I don't think Trump cared which party, which label he was going to attach to himself. It's just the way the political climate was. It was easier, more beneficial, more strategic for Trump to run as a Republican. And use that. I mean, you got to, work within the system to take it down. But at this point, we do have to start thinking beyond Trump. Because Trump's getting up there in age. Yeah, he's sharp, and for a guy in his 80s, he's getting shit done. But gotta start thinking beyond him. Even if by some grace of magic he gets another 4-year term in 2028. Whatever. Even if that happens. But realistically, we have 2 more years. 2.5. And then if Trump somehow gets 4 more years, 6 years. But even then, got to start thinking beyond. So we need to get people thinking for themselves. Get them able to assess situations and not have to hang off every word of a political leader, right? So that might be the reasoning for some of Trump's discombobulation right now, is that the goal is to get people not dependent on him. It could be why Trump is going back and forth on so many issues and kind of reversing course on some things. And some of his base is like, what? Could be purposeful. Trump is telling his own followers, like, hey, he's messing with their heads. He's like, hey, stop looking at me like some savior. You guys need to figure some stuff out for yourselves. Third party anti-Trump. One president killed 2 parties. I think if Trump can't get a third party, it's going to take a long time for somebody else. Yeah, that's read that one. So who knows, man? After Trump, will we even need a president? I mean, at this rate, yeah. Unless the aliens land or an asteroid comes down, but I think Trump is dismantling the City of London's grip on forever wars. Yeah, it sounds like you watch a lot of Promethean action. I don't really resonate with some of their content. I think they oversimplify world affairs by blaming everything on the city of London. It's really no different than people who oversimplify things and blame everything on the Jews. So, I personally think Promethean action, yeah, their takes are a little lazy. Some good sounding stuff in their videos, but they kind of rope in their own narratives, their own biases into them. Candace will say anything for money. No. She'll say anything to bolster her own narratives that ultimately result in getting money. Candace won't say anything. She'll say anything that fits her narratives. All right. Supreme Court strikes down Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. A 5-4 decision. John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett side with the liberals. Chief Justice Roberts wrote that children born in the U.S. to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. Yeah, kind of weird. So, are the Supreme Court justices full of shit, or was the Constitution not worded well? It does completely make sense that the 14th Amendment is being misinterpreted to give citizenship to anchor babies. People running into this country and banging and having a baby just so their kid can get citizenship. Trump's response: Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship, which is too bad for the country. But we can easily make it up in Congress through legislation with the support of the president. No long and unwieldy constitutional amendment is necessary. Congress should start today to work on ending expensive and unfair to our country birthright citizenship. All right, so it sounds like it'll get resolved eventually. DOJ launches new crackdown on birth tourism after Supreme Court blocks Trump's birthright citizenship order. Birth tourism. Potential charges include visa fraud, money laundering, identity theft, and wire fraud for foreign nationals who come to the U.S. under false pretenses to give birth and secure automatic citizenship for their child. How many people do this? They're like 8.5 months pregnant and they get on a plane just to come to the States and hang out till they have the baby. Peter Schweitzer exposed China's sophisticated birth tourism industry that creates anchor babies potentially tied to CCP influence operations. Now that is dedication. That is decades of dedication. Okay, Qing Yang Ming, we get you pregnant. We send you to U.S., you have baby. Baby dual citizen. In 20 years, baby be CCP spy. Your child spy for us. And we set your child up with Eric Swalwell. Yeah, it's wild. And Supreme Court also sided with Bayer. Supreme Court sided with the maker of Roundup, blocking thousands of lawsuits, alleging it failed to warn users the product could cause cancer. So, Supreme Court sucks. We knew that already. I believe Candace. I don't believe Robinson, and a 30-06. Well, you cannot believe both. I mean, Candace has been proven to be full of shit a variety of times. I caught Candace when she did her episode on Project Looking Glass. That's right. She was trying to pass off a fake Navy SEAL child abuser as being a whistleblower, like Project Looking Glass military whistleblower. Is that freaking Bill Wood guy? Like Candace Owens, she's not very smart. Be very careful when believing what Candace says. Looking Glass, Camelot is still going. Dude, that old-ass Bill Wood video goes viral like once or twice a year. And people don't realize that Bill Wood's a fake Navy SEAL. He just lied through that whole video. Candace has passed off a lot of fake info before. And yeah, some of the stuff that she says is true, sure. You gotta gain people's trust. Let's finish up. I gotta get ready to hop on over to Badlands for the Only Friends show. No, the Only Lands. Mom Donnie is forcing New Yorkers to set their thermostats to 78 degrees. He can't force this. This is just a suggestion, right? "78 degrees is hot." And some power company shut off power to 10,000 customers in Queens because of power demand. Con Ed. 500,000 customers are being urged to reduce their electricity use. Con Ed cuts voltage by 8%. Did 10,000 customers straight lose power? Don't live in the cities, dude. Like even if it was like even if Mom Donnie wasn't the mayor. When you cram 10 million, 15 million people into that high of a population density, what do you expect? You're living in a concrete jungle where everything is asphalt. It's going to get even hotter. And yeah, your electricity is going to be, the grid's going to be super stressed. Just don't live in the cities. Yeah, and Mamdani being a commie. We talked about McConnell freezing. Oh yeah, our buddy Wiener, our California Wiener. Creepy California State Senator Scott Wiener helps kill bill that would have barred sex offenders from public office. Says some people just have flaws. Not a joke. State bill in California would have banned sex offenders from holding local offices, and Scott Wiener disagreed with it. Said these are just you don't want to punish people for minor issues. Scott Wiener said the bill was dangerous because the crimes aren't a huge deal, and some people just have flaws.
California lawmakers today killed a bill that
Wiener was worried about casting a wide net and would only pass this bill if it only applied to sex offenders in Tier 3. The lawmaker who wrote,
if there's one person that needs his hard drive checked more than anybody, it's Scott Wiener. And how about those Russians that climbed to the top of the Empire State Building to propose? Hold up some world peace sign. Don't fall for this Russian propaganda, guys. Bro proposes to her there. What an asshole. As if the bar is not already set high enough. God. Now what? I'm going to be expected to climb to the top of the Empire State Building if I want to propose? Get out of here. What an ass. Can't you just be normal? Go on a picnic or a nice dinner, or go to the beach. Oh, you got to climb the Empire State Building. Is he related to Anthony Weiner? No, not that I know of. Different Wieners. Different Wieners. No. On the bright side, if the commies get complete control in New York and California, then we can at least stop sending aid. If the commies get complete control in California, they'll send us aids. Ooh, let me bring some music in. Wow. Friday is, I think the last time I played my blues mix, I got copyrighted. Copyright warning. But it wasn't a strike, and I'm not monetized on YouTube, so I don't care. I'll play it. Evil is happy to be boring if it causes you to stop paying attention. I actually think most evil, I think the truth is more boring. Evil's dramatic. If you look at a lot of what we will call evil or degenerate or low vibrational behavior in society, it's the opposite of boring. It's violence, it's murder, death, drugs, sex, party. Just look at the fake clickbait conspiracy theories that people are into. It's the ones that excite them. The shit that's wrong, they attach onto it because it's exciting. When the truth is usually boring, simplistic, Occam's razor. Mundane explanation. People don't like it because it's not fun for them. They just want a fun story in their head to tell themselves. I want to be excited. So I actually think, instant gratification you could kind of call evil. It's self-centered, at least. And instant gratification is not boring. People do it because it's fun. I'm gonna wank off to the porn. I'm gonna eat the candy. I'm gonna... I don't know. Do the drugs. Because it's fun. But, drinking water and going for a walk in the woods, that's boring. I don't want to do that because it's boring. Yeah.
Slightly hungover you.
Partying is not evil. You know what I was talking about, though. I'm not saying all partying is evil. I'm saying some partying is self-centered, instant gratification based. So, it's the intent. It's the intent.
Someone who loves you, and I do. Morning after you.
Bible says this is Satan's realm. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that statement.
Morning after you.
I think living or operating or existing satanically, if you will, purely depends on state of mind and intent or free will, purpose behind the action. So some people that live very righteously in a non-satanic manner, if we're using biblical vernacular, and it's purely because they educate themselves, make just choices, make choices based out of truth, even if they're difficult, respect for themselves, respect for other people, respect for their planet. These people live very righteous, divine-centered lives. Some people don't. Some people operate, demonically, if you will. They're very service to self-centered. So the choices they make destroy their body, destroy their mind, destroy other people's minds, destroy the planet. It's very destructive. God-centered behavior is very creative, very life perpetuating, growth-oriented. The opposite of that would be destructive. Decay behavior. People who decay their bodies, instant gratification type behavior. You could call that Satan-centered, self-centered. I don't have to agree with it. Bible states it clearly. I don't have to agree with your interpretation of that, though. You can argue translations, you can argue interpretations, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, I look for reason and logic first, and then I assess scriptures of the Bible based upon logic and reason. So you've got a billion frickin' translations out there, and everybody's arguing what means what. And interpretations, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, anyway. Philosophical tangent aside. I don't disagree with the Bible, I just disagree with certain dogmas associated with it. Most of those dogmas come from humans. Well, all of them do.
I just wanna get your head right, baby. Give you all the love I got for sure. So baby, if you've got that feeling, you know I wanna give you that midnight.
Wrong, this is the people's realm. I don't think we own it. I wouldn't call it the people's realm. We don't own it. We're just supposed to be good stewards. Omega fatty acids are for cholesterol. Help, yeah. Omega-3 fatty acids help regulate inflammation, which helps the body process cholesterol. More omega-6 fatty acids, or more seed oils, as they're popularly called these days, are typically pro-inflammatory and more inflammation in the body. Blood doesn't flow as easily. Cholesterol can back up. Your cholesterol is real low, eat some eggs. Also, have you had your testosterone and estrogen checked? Because cholesterol being low could be either A, you're not eating much cholesterol, so there's not much in your body, or B, maybe your body is just processing the cholesterol you do eat very well. So cholesterol could be low, could be saying different things. I would get your hormones checked. If you can. Yeah, too much 6 is like canola bad. Canola, soy, corn. I love that. There's so many experts on social media, especially in the nutrition space. You've got all these college-educated doctors, and they just love going against people who are against the grain. You understand what I'm saying? So they're the professional debunkers. There are so many studies out there that show raw milk is terrible for you. There's a reason we pasteurize it. There are so many studies that prove the safety and effectiveness of vaccines. There's a reason why we vaccinate. They got rid of disease. Seed oils are good for you. Canola oil is great for your heart. Those kinds of ass clowns. All right, guys, I'm gonna skedoodle. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me a message somewhere. If you want to DM me, either Instagram or Twitter are the best platforms to DM me on. I should have a link. Down below to those. I might not. Find them on my site though, or you can email me. You guys have a happy 4th of July. Whatever you decide to do this weekend, have fun, be safe, be smart, and have fun again. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That gives you a lot of options. I'll see you guys on, well, if you want to go hang out on Badlands, I'll be over there in half an hour. But if not, I'll see you in 3 days. On Monday. See you guys.